guess what today is? Today is the first day of my daughter's 10th grade year. That means I have had 10 first days with her, with school. And a strange thing happened this year. You know, what is grief? Grief is the emotional response to change. So, what just changed? Well, it occurred to me last night that I had a nice big fat punch of sadness, punched me right in the gut. And I thought, oh, right, I'm going through a change. I mean, yes, I'm personally starting to go through a change, if you know what I mean. But there's a big change coming, and I felt such a punch of sadness. And then, sure enough, today, after she got out of the car, tears were bubbling up. And so why? It's not like this is my first time taking her to school. This is the 10th time having a first day of school, plus the hundreds of times like dropping her off after the first day of school. Well, I noticed that for us, this summer being the second child and the age of my kids and just how life has worked out for us, this was the first summer that she wanted to hang out with me. I felt a different closeness with her. She's always been pretty independent, wants to be with friends, wants to play, basketball all throughout the year and wants to do all the activities and wants to do all the things. But this was the first year that we had a few weeks where it was just us. My son would be at work all day. My husband would be at work all day. And it was the first time that it was just the two of us, and she wanted to do things together and she wanted to hang out with me. And that was different. And it was just us and our two little dogs. And I didn't realize that was making such an impact on my heart. I mean, of course, I'm just in the moment, but I'm not always overlooking the totality of a situation. Sometimes I'm just really living in it. And we live such an intense home. I can only focus on what's happening at that moment, which I'd rather be present, than always having my mind too far out, too far back, too far, and then bouncing back and forth. I really like to be present in the moment. So it just occurred to me last night and hit me hard this morning. Oh, it's a big change. And when I wanted to think deeper of, well, why is it? Oh, I see. And I could see why it was a big deal for me. So I just want to be a reminder, you can have an emotional reaction pop up on you at any given time, even if you've done it many years before. That, there were years where I was like, phew, thank goodness everyone's back in school. But this one wasn't one of those. This one I was just sad. And also I'm running out of time, it feels like, too. So you can have whatever emotional response or reaction that you do. Of course, I'll be getting my pin out. I don't think I'll do it today because I've got a bit of work to do that is on a time limit for today. But this week, I will be having my pen and paper out and doing grief work to address the change and the emotional reaction that it's brought on my heart. There's nothing wrong with having emotion. I just know that living with such heavy sadness, eventually that long-standing sadness, it could start to just be depression. It pulls me out of the moment. It pulls me out of focus. I'm more sensitive with other things in my life, and that might mean a little more jumpy, a little bit more attitudey, a little bit more, hypersensitivity, reacting when I don't really need to, when I should really just be responding. It just comes out in different ways, and probably that's going to land on my husband because for whatever reason, he's my target when life hits me. So it's my job and my responsibility to deal with my emotional reactions to make sure that I'm not letting them affect another relationship or another responsibility, concentration, focus, energy. Those things can really take a toll for me. I'm particularly sensitive to energy, focus, concentration. And then when those are down, my willingness to show up in other areas that aren't scheduled is really difficult for me. It's just my pattern. It's my life. It's all the things. So perhaps this would help you, and perhaps it won't. But if it is you feeling emotional and sad and scared or worried or just not more zen and not more neutral, then I want you to know there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with having an emotional response to life as the changes come. Even if you've been through them many times before, it doesn't matter. You can still have one pop up on you, and it's perfectly normal and natural. And we can use the grief recovery method for any part of it. So if that's something you think could be useful for your life, you can always let me know, or any other grief recovery method specialist. I do have a 2-day workshop coming up next weekend in August. We're in August. It's in a couple of weeks. It's on my page. I'll post it again, so it's easier to find. But I just want you to know I love you. There's nothing weird about feeling when you do feel, and you don't have to be stuck in that. You don't have to just trudge through life. A lot of people like to call that resilience. Well, I'm able to just keep going. I'm able to keep plugging along. Really, that's just plugging along. Every sad moment, heavy moment that just hangs out and feels heavy, it's like a weight, like a little dumbbell. And just because we get used to life, used to going through life with a bunch of dumbbells attached to us, no, it's not making us stronger. It's using our reserves, and then we end up hitting that wall where that one additional weight, it doesn't even seem like very much, but it knocks us down. It pulls us out of the game because that one weight was just the last piece of weight that we could bear. So don't get under the illusion of thinking, well, I'm still going and so I must be fine. Maybe, but probably you could be more fine. Probably you could be more unburdened. And yeah, grief recovery method is just helpful for the emotional buildups that prevent you from feeling on the inside and performing on the outside sometimes the way you wish you could. So I love you. I hope that's helpful. And hey, hugs to you who are feeling the first day of school moments as heavy and intense and sad, and that give you a sense of longing and that feeling of, man, I wasn't done. So I love y'all. Talk with you next time.